Power up.
Okay, let's do it.
Good golly, Miss Molly, I'm actually on. What the fuck's happening? Woo! That's a terrible intro. What the fuck am I doing? Anyways, it is... Golly, it's Tuesday, January 24th. Had to think about that. I was looking at my computer screen, my monitor, as I'm moving around in my chair, trying to find the right position for my butt on the cushion here. Yeah, January 24th, 2023. It's a Tuesday. We're back. And it is, at this point, 1 week from now, it is, right now, no, 1 o'clock. Sorry, yeah, 1:09 p.m. on the 25th. So this time next week, if I was logging on at this exact time, it would be already February 1st in Japan, because I am just under a week. Let me fire this up. I'm just under a week from... That's really... Wow, why is that so loud? Like, that's the lowest I can make it. You know what, can I adjust that even further? I think I should be able to. Volume mixer. Oddly enough. There we go. I want sounds, but I don't want it like completely overtaking everything. Yeah, I'm just under a week from my trip. I've been stressing the fuck out about it the whole time. Oh, I got stuff. I got stuff to talk about. So I haven't... When was the last time I streamed? Like, the 14th? Golly, hold on. Now I gotta check. Because I gotta look at when I uploaded stuff. I really wish the Twitch app would actually have the same level of accessibility in terms of what you're wanting to look at. Like, you can't actually access your dashboard. Like, the full dashboard with all the metrics and everything that you can see on desktop. Like, you can't do any of that shit on the app, and I dislike the hell out of that. They really need to they either need to have that, or they need to have like what YouTube has, which is YouTube Studio, where you don't play stuff through there, but you can edit things and you can look at all your metrics and you can take you know, at least can see that information. Let me just check and see. Let me look at my channel real quick. My channel, please don't fucking play anything. Videos. There we go. Past broadcasts. Well, that's not a past broadcast. We're clearly in the middle of that, so I don't know what the hell it's talking about. It said 1 week ago. Well, 1 week ago. Has it really been 1 week? I don't remember streaming. Maybe I did stream on this Saturday. That's legitimately not helpful to say 1 week ago. I'm like, give me a date range, for fuck's sakes. No? No date range? I can't see chat replay, so clearly it's long enough ago that I can't actually take a look at that anymore. View all. Yeah, how the fuck is there no... Get out of here. 2 weeks ago. No date range? Alright, hold on a second. The on-screen stuff's going to disappear as I click over to the other window that isn't being looked at. So I can actually look at my... I don't want to show you the dashboard. Video producer. When the fuck was the date? Okay, it was the 11th. That's not a week ago. It's 2 weeks ago. So that's how long it's been since I since I actually streamed. Cool. Yeah, that was an interesting stream. It wasn't a bad one. I know I got rather upset during it. Oops. Bring it back. There you go. Mainly because the games themselves, trying to play through Fire Shark, aka Same Same Same. That game, even when I brought it up when we handed things over and we did the raid for Lord BBH that night, and I mentioned, I'm like, yeah, I got done playing Fire Shark. Like, even trying to just beat it normally as a normal game, I'm like, it's really hard. And he's like, oh yeah, no, that one's really rough. And another person had mentioned that it may be one of the hardest, if not the hardest, of the Toaplan shooters, which I'm like, those are really difficult anyways, but there's a lot to that game. Even doing this super easy playthrough, the game still ranks up as you continue to... Like, I think it ranks down at the start of a new stage, but of course, as you're powered up and you're not dying, and you're on the single life, like, it eventually ranks back up to the point where it's just about catching up with what the game should be throwing at you, but still below that. It's more reasonable. It's still difficult in a lot of spots, and if you're trying to do it with no deaths, that would be really difficult still. As compared to, like, I think I just did, on my own, I did a run through on novice difficulty on Dodonpachi Resurrection, since I have it on Steam, and I did a 1-all clear on that. It's like I had a hard time in the last couple of stages, but I managed to stock up enough lives. I didn't have to do, save states or anything. I don't even think that supports save states. You have to play it legitimately, and still got a 1-all on it. So that's another one where it's like, even on novice, it's still really difficult, but it's something you can actually finish. So it's a little bit more enjoyable. But as this trip has gotten closer and closer to happening, I've had to try to get lots more things figured out, and there's other stuff that was happening along the way. One of the big things, and we did a stream not long before that, Hisho Same 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 stream 2 weeks ago. I did one that had me just in Google Maps as well as Lost Judgment trying to do stuff. Oh, why is that not working? Hold on. Did I not? Oh, no, close. Oh, it install. Close that. Connect. Doggone it. All right, hold on. Let me play that for you.
Ho ho.
There we go. Welcome in, Darkstar. Hey, Damn314. Welcome in. Thank you for the lurk. Yeah, I haven't streamed that much this month. I'm trying. I've been so busy. That's what I'm going to use this stream to talk about. It's... oh, God. So, Yeah, doing that stream a few weeks ago, just doing research in Google Maps and going, oh, fuck. I just keep finding stuff that's in the Ijincho map that's in Yakuza Like a Dragon, as well as Lost Judgment. There's just a lot that keeps showing up. And that stream I was going, okay, I don't know if any of these buildings in the areas north of Jinnai Station, where you run into, hey, here's this big municipal building, here's this place that's a restaurant, here's this other place that was, you know, the part-time hero building in Like a Dragon. Do any of these exist? And come to find out, oh yeah, they all exist in some form, not as they are in game, in that function, but those things exist. So I'm also just kind of like, man, I haven't seen Damn 314 in a while. That's cool. Glad to see you. But yeah, I was finding more and more things, and then I was going back over areas I'd already kind of done some research on and started doing some mapping, and I kept finding more things. Like I've had a few long, you know, hours-long sessions where I was just looking up stuff, and I kept finding shit. Like I did one around Fukutomicho, which in-game is the Koreatown area. It's a different name, but I was looking around there because I was like, oh, well, this is right next to the bar district, and the bar district exists, and some of this stuff is there. You know, at least how it looks aesthetically. It's like, okay, well, look over here. I'm like, okay, well, here's the street with the awnings that go over the sidewalks, and here's the sign, and you know, it's a different character that's on there, and everything. But okay, let me look around here, and I found a couple of things. I'm like, oh shit, that's here too. Okay, this is here. And it was the same way as I started going through other areas. Some stuff, thankfully, wasn't that bad, but like I did a session a couple of days ago, and I found a building that I'd looked at multiple times and passed by, and then I realized, oh shit, that's in game. All right, let me put that in there. I went back through Chinatown. I misinterpreted one of the areas there. It's like this little courtyard area, little park, whatever you want to call it, with like, not a pagoda, but it's like almost like a gazebo in the middle. It's a meeting place for people. And I thought one area that was off to one of the streets kind of east of where I was looking at, I was looking at it and going, oh, well, it's bigger, but that might be the stand-in for it. Not having realized, no, I've been going past the area that probably really is the real-life equivalent of it multiple times and going, okay, well, I got to add that. You know, I've just been finding all kinds of things. I went back over Onomichi because I've been trying to kind of finish that research up and give myself a stopping point and saying, okay, you're done. That's it. You cannot keep working on this. You have a lot. It's going to be fine. You're going to have a lot to cover. It's probably, even I've done a few YouTube searches for people that are showing stuff off like that, and they do 2-3 minute videos, and it's kind of very quick, like, oh, boom, boom, boom. They're actually showing more of Minato Mirai in the distance, which isn't even a part of the map. It's like, oh, there's the Cosmo wheel, the big Ferris wheel. There's the Landmark Tower. There's there's the, Landmark Tower. There's the Continental Hotel Tower. Like, those aren't even in the game. Those are skyline functions. Let's look at the map. I went over Onomichi, though, and I had found a ramen shop roughly about where, in the south of that map, the south border, there's a street that goes east-west, and it runs along the bay, and there's like a little ferry cast-off point. That's where you do the spearfishing minigame, and that ferry pier 100% exists, and there's a ramen shop that's near it, and I went, oh, okay, well, based on the location, it serves Onomichi ramen, that might be it. A couple of nights ago, I'm looking around, and I find another place, and 100% I'm like, oh no, this is the ramen shop. It's a different name, but the bowls are the same design, the interior is the same design, elements of the exterior are the same. And I went, okay, no, this is the shop. It's like, I have to go here. And then looking around there, I go, okay, well, the corner that kind of is around the Navy Apartments building where Kiryu stays when he's in Onomichi, I couldn't find that corner. Except when I found the correct ramen shop, I then found the corner. The apartment building doesn't exist, and the pier that would be in-game near these locations is further southwest from there. But the corner exists, and that leads up to an entrance for the big shopping street that runs about a kilometer or so through that area. The entrance is on the west side of the street, because it's right around the corner end game. It's like you'd go from you can kind of picture it, you'd go west along the street from where the ramen shop would be, and once you get to the apartment building, you would take a right, and it would have you go north. And as you go north, you either go left into the shopping street, or you go right into the Hana no Kubo area. That one I didn't think existed either, but I found a lot of that too. But the shopping street, if you actually start from the real life location of the ferry cast-off point, there is no entrance to the shopping street that's like that. But the one that's over near what was the name of the ramen shop? Give me a second. Is that even going to show up here? More from recent history. Maruboshi. So, in real life, if you go southwest from Maruboshi and you make the right-hand turn, you go up there, all of a sudden, you have an entrance to the shopping street that is a dead ringer for the one in-game. Like, the only thing that I think they don't have... Pardon me. The only thing they don't have on the sign in real life that the game has is the phrase Hohoemi no shoppingu, like smile shopping, something of that nature. But the font's the same, the color scheme's the same. And when you go onto the street, must be an old enough section of it there's that section there that goes west, and then when you start on the street, when you start on the north-south street that you would actually start heading west on to go onto that section of the shopping street, the Hondori, if you were to go east again, out of it, back onto the north-south street, you'd cross over like a lot, and then you would hit a different section of it. Like, these two sections must be the older ones, because they still have above the shops the signage that kind of states what the shop is. A lot of the one Nakano Sun Plaza in Tokyo, as you're heading north from the station, you got to cut through Sun Plaza to get to Nakano Broadway. And it's the same thing, where every shop has like this old-fashioned sign, probably glass, or it might be plastic now, but it'd be an old-fashioned sign with logos for the shopping street as well as the name of the shop. And it's the same thing with the center guy, in the Hondori shopping street in Onomichi, and the signage is the same. It's the same fucking design. So I was like, okay, found that. The Hana no Kubo area, where you have a couple of different shops, and you have like, ooh, completely off topic. Hold on. Gacha no something or other. Let me click on that. What do we got here? Translate tweet. Oh God. No, that's awesome, but no. Oh man. As I say, as long as your shit doesn't fall out the bottom pocket here. That's actually relatively cheap or something like that. I don't know. I don't know how I'd get that home. Anyways. But yeah, the Hana no Kubo area, it's like the Hirose family, the Yakuza family that you team up with. Yeah, I already got a carry-on bag and my personal bag, plus I gotta check my luggage when I get there. I gotta do some... I've gotten like minor amounts of packing done, but not a ton. But yeah, Hana no Kubo, there's a couple of things there, and I was like, oh, well, this is when I had the idea that everything was kind of in this really tight location, not realizing, no, Hana no Kubo in-game is represented by the Kubo area in Onomichi, which is just, from the ferry pier, it's fucking northwest from there. It's not super far. It's close to the ropeway station that takes you up to Senkoji Temple, and it goes up the little mountain there that gives you the nice overlook of the area. So like, okay, well, there's the Kubo area, and once I went into there, I'm like, okay, well, there's this building, there's this building, there's this building, there's this building, there's this. It's not going to be exactly the same, but there is a fair amount to cover. And I was just finding all this stuff out, and I was like, oh no, I can't keep doing this. It's like I have more. Onomichi I was stressed out about because I have, you know, a single day to go there, and I have maybe 6 to 7 hours to really kind of get that shit done. It's gonna be a quick visit because I was gonna go on the Monday. That would be the 20th. I'm gonna have to go on the 21st because the other shop I wanted to hit up, Oyatsuto Yamaneko, the place that's in game also that sells puddings, you know, milk puddings. They aren't open on Mondays. So I'm like, oh, I can't do that. I got to fucking actually have one of those. So I got to go on the Tuesday. So when I get into Hiroshima on the 19th, it's like, that's going to be sightseeing for the evening, go get some dinner. And then I'm going to sightsee and do other shit on the Monday. Because that Tuesday, I'm going to spend most of my day in Onomichi, come back that evening, get some laundry done, because I believe that place has a washer. I don't think they have a dryer, but maybe it's an all-in-one unit that does the same thing. And if I can fucking figure it out, that'll be great. Because I'm going to need to do laundry anyways. But the next day, I have to leave. Like, I got to check out, I think by like 11. But I'm going to try to leave reasonably earlier and make my way up to Osaka, you know, do some sightseeing until I can check into my Airbnb there and go from there. So getting Onomichi right and trying to cover as much as humanly possible in my time there was important. Yokohama, I'm trying to cover as much as I can, but there's, in terms of time to do it, there is a high tolerance for that. Like, I want to try to get it all done before I actually leave to go down to Hiroshima. But if I really need to reshoot something, or I figure out, you know, I fucked this up, or I missed this, or maybe this footage isn't usable, I hope that isn't the case. But I have pretty much the entire trip, other than this 1 week near the end of February, to be able to shoot around Yokohama. Why I would want to do it earlier is like, yeah, most of February I'll be spending around Yokohama anyways. You know, I'll be staying around there, so I'd rather get it done while it's exceptionally easy to get to these locations and much quicker, because otherwise I'd be having to take a, you know, longer train ride. Even though I'd be in Kanagawa during 2 weeks there in March, I'd have to be going from, you know, Atsuki into Yokohama. It's still going to take a little while. And I'd rather only do that trip if I really, really need to, or go that far. You know, if I'm going that far, I'm doing something else. I'm really hoping by the time I get back from Osaka, for the most part, I'm not going to be shooting much else. I know I want to do a walk around. We're actually going on the route here. This is the Oda-Q route on screen. I do want to take a walk around and film around Aiko Ishida Station, just to be like, hey, it's kind of what I consider my home station. This is my place. This is my neighborhood while I'm here, at least for the last few trips. But I don't want to do anything like really major as far as, you know, shooting things. I hopefully would be pretty done, but I might find small stuff to be able to shoot there. I actually got to check with my Pocket 2 if I can edit in app with the DJI app at all, just little edits. Because I feel like it would be a lot easier to film daily vlogs to upload to YouTube if I could just shoot it with that, do the minor edits I need without having to actually transfer over to phone, and then maybe even upload directly from there to YouTube. That way I have just slightly better quality on that, because otherwise I'd be using my phone, and if I use my phone, I can't switch cameras mid-recording, which sucks. If you start recording on the cameras on the rear, that's where it's going to put you. And if you want to try to, you know, film yourself, you got to flip your fucking phone around. And I always forget which lens is the standard lens and which one's the wide lens. And that doesn't help. And of course I can't see myself. There's no kind of like selfie mirror or anything like that to give you a clear idea. Hey man, you're in frame. And if those are better quality lenses too, because otherwise it's much easier to use your front camera, but the quality's not quite as good. And if you want to shoot something, if you want to shoot yourself, it's great. If you want to shoot something that's in front of you, you can't do that because you can't switch your fucking camera. And you'd again have to turn the fucking camera around and hope you got everything in frame, and you won't. Most likely, you probably won't. So we'll see if I can do it with the Pocket 2. That'll be great, or even with the Osmo Action, just to use that, because the vlogs don't even need to be in 4K. It's like, they're 1080p 60. It's fine. I'm still trying to figure out if I want to shoot all the walk-around footage, all the footage for Yokohama and Onomichi, and continue to do it in 4K 30. I don't want to bump it to 4K 60 because the file size will be fucking gigantic. I'm taking enough memory to make sure I don't run out, but I know if I'm shooting in 4K 60, that's a possibility. 4K 30, maybe not as much, but it's not quite as nice. So if I didn't want to shoot in that, I'd have to go down to 1080p 60, which would work. I'd rather shoot this in 4K though, but I know 1080p 60, the file size will be a good bit smaller. It'll be easier to edit overall. We'll see. Maybe I'll shoot some tests, and if it looks fine, like 1080p 60 might be perfectly okay. Everything else I shot was 1080p 60, and the quality on this should be decent. I shoot on 4K 30 just because it doesn't require as much of an ISO to let light in. I mean, low-level stuff's probably not going to be great, but outside stuff looks just fine. I'm shooting mostly outside anyways. And with the bitrate not having to be quite as high, obviously file size comes down. Things to consider, and I'm still thinking about it. And yeah, I've been trying to take this part of the trip quite seriously because it's work I'm giving myself, and I'm trying to consider it as work. Like, this is, I'm obviously not working, so I'm creating work for myself to do while I'm there, and I want to be able to cover things appropriately. I want to shoot it and have it look at least halfway decent, and have enough to where I can easily edit things together when I get back home and produce some halfway decent videos. As I said earlier, it doesn't seem like some of this stuff has been covered a whole lot. I found like one video for Onomichi from a Japanese YouTuber, and they covered quite a bit. It's still a relatively quick video, but they managed to cover a lot of the same stuff that I've figured out on my own. So hopefully I'll be kind of filling a void, so to speak, by actually having these videos out there and giving people something to look at. I've even been thinking, like, what kind of disclaimer I'm going to put on here, because I know I'm going to run into people that are going to, I don't want people to take it quite as gospel, because I might be, coming to conclusions on some stuff that might be wrong, might be a bit of a stretch. I'm going to forget shit. Like, that's been something I've really had to, like, push myself to go, you're going to miss shit and you're going to get shit wrong. It's just going to happen. You don't have all the information about the history of these areas. You don't have all the information about, and just little things you're going to fucking miss out on. And, come up with a disclaimer, mention it while you're shooting it, be like, hey man, there's stuff I'm going to miss. Don't be a jerk, but if I miss something, or if you notice something that I don't point out or I got wrong, just let me know. And, maybe later I can do another video that covers stuff that I missed and, makes corrections and shit like that. That's fine. It's just extra things to put over. To put together later on, not put over. Put myself over. Yeah. So yeah, I've been trying to get through all that. Was trying to figure out whether or not I could get my Universal Studios tickets purchased. If you try to go through USJ's website, there is an order. It's in English, and there is an order link. The problem is they outright state, and I tried to run it anyways, and it didn't work. They don't take overseas credit cards, Visa or MasterCard, for some reason. So I was looking at another place that was being mentioned by a blog I found, as well as mentioned by Universal Studios Japan themselves as, hey, if you need to order a ticket, here's a place you can do it. And it's a site called Klook. I think it's pronounced Klook, K-L-O-O-K. And when I was first looking at the prices, I thought, fuck, this is really high. I'm like, are you guys, that's a are you guys charging a giant markup on that? And I was like, I don't want to buy through you. And so my original plan was just to hopefully get lucky when I got there. I could go to a Lawson, I think it was a Lawson that sells them, and get everything set up a couple of weeks in advance once I'm in the country. However, I figured out on Klook's website, I was looking at stuff listed in Canadian dollars. So once I switched it to to US dollars, then everything looked a bit more correct, and it didn't seem like they were marking it up. I did a conversion on the prices to dollars, and I was checking USJ's own listings for those days, and it was the same price. It was not really a markup at all. And the fact that it was being recommended by them, like, okay. So I was like, all right, let me get a studio pass. And I was getting paranoid about actually being able to get into Super Nintendo Land, as well as Wizarding World. Like, Super Nintendo Land? World? Super Nintendo World? Was it World? How do I not remember that? What? Give me a second. But anyways, I was getting paranoid about being able to get into there because I didn't know. I was going to go on a Thursday, but that's a holiday. And the studio pass, and I would imagine everything else along with it, goes up alongside it. It's not a huge difference, but since it's the Emperor's birthday, that was what, the 23rd? Yeah. And it was marked as such, so it's like, okay, that might be busier. So I'm going to have to go on a Friday, because I can't go on Wednesday. That's when I'm coming into the city. So I'll just have to change the plan to that and save a couple of bucks. But reading up on everything, they're like, yeah, you might be able to get lucky and get there early and actually get in and get into the land, or get into those places, get into Super Nintendo World, because it is World, or Wizarding World without having to have a timed entry pass. Because if it gets busy, you're going to have to get a timed entry pass. You're either going to have to pay for it or apply for free to get one, and they do it as a lottery, and you either get in or you don't. And I'm like, I'm coming here for two things, and I'm not going to fuck around with that. So thankfully, Klook also had the Express Pass that gives you priority access to rides that are listed on it. They sell a bunch of them, and if you go ham and you buy the most expensive one, you get priority access to a lot of stuff. I'm like, no, let me see ones that actually give me priority access to these two locations in the park and, one or two rides within them. And I found one that gave me access to Super Nintendo World and Wizarding World, timed entry access, as well as, hey, this will give you priority access to these rides, like the Mario Kart one I really want to do. And then one of the other ones, it's kind of like a Magic Motion ride. It's not a roller coaster, but it's kind of like a 4D kind of deal going on. And I said, okay, this is more money than I was anticipating to have to spend on the ticket, but at least when I buy this, I am guaranteed access to these things. And at least since I'm ordering it while I'm still here, I don't have to take the money out of my trip fund. I can just pay for it normally, and that's, more money back into my pocket for the trip, or at least for that segment of the trip, because it's going to be kind of pricey anyways. So yeah, I got those ordered. I think it's 10:20 a.m. I have access to Super Nintendo World. And obviously if I leave it, I can't get back in, but I can, the park opens up at 9, so I can wander around for a little bit, and then I can go into the Super Nintendo World. My access, it's like half-hour priority access to the Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge ride, just not long after. I think it's like 20 minutes after I enter there. So I can go straight for that. And by that point, I'll have already got my power-up band, and then I can go do that stuff afterwards. And I already planned on spending, 4 or 5 hours in that area, because my timed access for Wizarding World is like 3:10 p.m. and the park closes, I believe, at 7 that day, which is weird. It seems kind of early. Like, I don't know when Disneyland closes out here or any of the other parks, but there, 7 o'clock. So at the very least, I can get into there and I can do the stuff I want to do around there, spend the rest of the day. I can be at the park the whole day and not, have to show up at like 6 a.m. I can, especially with my timed access, I can show up at like 9:30 after the park opens, and I can get my power-up band, make my way over, wait for my time, go in. So I was hoping not to have to buy the express pass, but it bought me some peace of mind, and I'm glad I'm able to at least get those ordered over here. I did have a question for them, though, since everything was good to go on. They send you the vouchers. They got QR codes, so you can either print them or just scan the QR code from the PDF. My name's not listed on the studio pass, but based on what they told me, it's like, oh, that doesn't matter as long as you got the QR code. Like, that's what's printed on there isn't necessary, but at the very least I got the app for them, and if they have any questions I can go, nope, I purchased this. I purchased it from here. This is a place you guys talk about. Let me the fuck in. At the very least with the timed access one, that'll be perfectly fine. I don't think I have to worry about that. Where are we coming into? Is this Holnotski? Didn't check the last station. So I've been trying to deal with that. They're having to stop. They gotta wait for somebody to leave. But I was trying to deal with that, and I was waiting on tax documents to come in. I was thinking, oh, I probably wouldn't be able to get that done until I get back home, which would be really weird. Generally, the latest I file my taxes is like the first week of February, because I might have to wait for documents to come in, but I had like 3 fucking documents come in. The only one that was lagging behind there for a little while was my old employer, and they got me my W-2 for that yesterday. So I just went into TurboTax before that, filled out everything else that I needed to fill out, and then said, okay, I'll come back and finish this later. Oh, it's Machida. So I just said, fuck it, I'll let it sit there. They checked late yesterday, like, oh, hey, cool. Skills finally got me my W-2 for the few months I was working directly under them. So it's like, let's plug this in, let's recheck everything else, get it all nice and tidy, make sure everything's cool. I was thinking Twitch would take the longest because they said they wouldn't get the 1099 miscellaneous to me until like the 31st. But I was thinking, okay, well, they're going to be the ones that gonna hold me up, and it's like, well, I know how that looks, and I can just find the number and of what I made last year and plug that in. I don't even need the form. I'll just do it without it. But then they sent it on time, so I'm like, okay, well, somehow the state of Nevada gave me my 1099-G, and they're bear in mind, this is the same fucking state that took 5 months for them to finally, look at my claim in the first place. But they were really quick about giving me the tax document, so I'm like, okay, cool. And Higher Art, the contractor I worked under for the most of the time I was with Skills, they at least got me my W-2. That was already in the ADP portal. I didn't have to go anywhere except where I was usually logging in to get my info when I was still with Skills. It was Skills that were just dragging their feet, but yeah, since they must have waited until the IRS finally opened up to start accepting returns, which was yesterday, the 23rd. And they was like, okay, here you go. I'm like, cool, thanks. So that's all done. That's all been accepted. I filed very early this morning, and TurboTax is like, yeah, it's going to probably take 24 to 48 hours by the time it arrives at the IRS before we hear anything back. And I think it was like 7 o'clock this morning, Eastern time. They're like, oh, nope, they accepted it. You're good. You're all filed. I'm like, cool. All right. So thank Christ that's done. Yeah. Other than that, all the research for filming, and still kind of wrapping my head around, damn, I'm gonna be gone a long time. 6 weeks. So of course now I'm in the midst of going through older lists to see if there's any, items that I still have that I haven't found yet. Oh fuck, I've somehow lost the iOS Lightning connector for my Pocket 2, because the Pocket 2 itself has this little spot on the front that you can swap out faces for. The one I have on there normally, it's got an extra button, and it's got a little control stick on it to move the camera around on the gimbal. But you can swap those out for phone connectors, so you can directly link up your phone via, if it's USB-C or if it's Lightning connection, and be able to control the camera through the DJI app. Somewhere in the last 3-4 months, I lost that connection. I don't know where it went. I thought I'd put it somewhere. Apparently not. The only one that's in the box is a USB-C because I don't have an Android phone. I don't have anything that uses USB-C. So I went, okay. I had to order another one of those. We'll see if it works. If not, hopefully it'll get here with enough time to test it reasonably well and make sure the connection works. And that way I don't have to send it back, because if it doesn't, I need to immediately send it back and just get my money and do without it. So, but yeah, I've been going through trying to figure out. I'm gonna have to do another stock on toiletries and see if there's anything I absolutely need and anything I can leave behind. I've gone back and forth on the amount of clothes I want to take. I am not taking a whole lot. I think I'm counting what I'm going to be wearing on my way there. It'll probably be, I was going to say 8 sets. I'm going to do 9, which is far less than for the 3 weeks I went back in 2019, where I think I brought like 18 sets of clothes. Less is better in this case. I'm just going to have to do laundry more often. Or at all. I think I did laundry like once the last trip. This time I'm going to have to do it a lot more. But I'm also having to take like fucking 3 jackets, which is excessive, I think. But like I have my big puffy jacket I got for Christmas from Celebrius. That was his gift to me because he asked me what I wanted. And he's like, do you have any games you want? I'm like, no, but I could use a jacket because if it gets windy and cold, I need something insulated, and this will be good for, you know, colder environments. And I mean, Japan's going through a cold snap right now. They had snow down in Kyoto, based on K-Pasa's Instagram link. But like I have my normal jacket that I wear, and I like that. But I want to take my RGG Studio jacket as well. At the very least to wear it to Onomichi and wear it around there. I have no idea what it's going to... I probably won't be warm enough. We'll see. But... yeah, it probably should fit. We'll see as I start to pack. I may have to make a judgment call and only pack 1 jacket and just take the warmer one and take the RGG one and just kind of leave it at that and have to deal with it. Because if I don't take the bigger, warmer one, I may regret it. Because at least where I'm staying in Yokohama, it is around and closer to the water, which means if it's windy, it's going to be fucking cold. I don't know what Atsugi feels like at that. That's a little bit more farther inland in Kanagawa Prefecture. I don't know what that feels like during the winter. So we'll find out. But it's, yeah, getting toiletries together, getting clothes together that I want to take, and not trying to pack everything too early. You know, I'm going to take some stuff that I can wear to bed. So I got a few things I need to wash right before I pack them. Having some undershirts to wear underneath things, you know. Yeah, I feel like it's looking at the temperature, I'm just like, okay, well, this isn't terrible. They're colder than we are right now here, but like it seems about the same, because even our humidity lately has been pretty comparable. It's not super humid, but you know, I think there's just sometimes more humidity in winter, although it feels dry, so. Yeah, the fact that they're going through a cold spell, I don't know how long that's going to last. And I'd rather be safe than sorry on that shit. But, what did I have listed? Because I got stuff I got to put into certain bags. Like some stuff's going into suitcase because I can't keep it in a carry-on. They'll throw it away. Like I'm taking a bottle of mouthwash, and it's like, yeah, it's not a huge bottle, but it's bigger than what you guys would allow me in a carry-on bag, so I don't want you to throw it away. But I got toiletries, which it's a big list. Like the only things that don't fit into my little bag are, I got a big thing of Everyman Jack hair and body wash, just so I have just one thing, and it's a rather large bottle, but it should be okay. There's that and the mouthwash. Those are the only 2 things that don't fit in there. Everything else fits. Clothing, obviously that's going to be, you know, jeans. It says 2 pair of jeans. I think I'm going to take 3. So I have stuff to kind of filter through. And I found it. I forgot I had another pair in there, and I was like, oh yeah, those still fit. heat tech stuff and thermal stuff just in case. Like that I probably could wear into Onomichi if I want to wear that jacket. I could just layer up a bit more. Obviously camera stuff. My personal bag's got everything else because I got my rail voucher, which I guess I didn't realize you could redeem those pretty decent ways in advance. Like I don't need it until February 19th, but like within that first week that I'm in the country, it's like I can go anywhere and that I can redeem it at and redeem it and be like, okay, this doesn't work until the 19th, but I can redeem it now and get my thing. And I guess instead of doing, they gave you kind of like a little, I guess it almost looked like a greeting card. I think they've changed to a completely different system though since 2020. So we'll see how that works out. But it looks like I can get it and it won't be active until that time, but I can also start making green car seat reservations for that date and beyond right away, which will help because I'm going to need to make those. I'm going to need to make those reservations no matter what. So if I can make like certain trips I need, like say, hey, I got to go from Hiroshima to Onomichi and back. You know, if I can make those for certain times, then I can already have those seats booked and I don't have to try to book them day of. We'll see. But yeah, personal bag is just, you know, chargers, cash, passport, all the stuff where I'm like, I need instant access to those things. So my to-do list is, for the most part, pretty good. My throat's trying to tell me I need to cough, but I need water. There we go. Ready, even like to-do list. I'm like, yep, checked with T-Mobile. My coverage should be fine out there. Got my Studio Pass and Express Pass order for USJ. Damn it, hold on. There, hopefully that helps. Got my Airbnb book, got my Rail Pass, Fast Track set up for entering the country. That looks to be still good. Already got my currency exchanged. Ooh, what is the current exchange rate? Let me pause this for a second because we're actually coming up upon a station. USD to JPY. Okay, it went back up a little bit. Because yeah, I was looking at my exchange rate when I did it a few weeks ago. It was like 131 that day, and it's like around 121 was the exchange rate I got. So when it was hovering around, you know, 128, 129, I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like if it wants to hover around there, that means I technically did a good thing. It could very well go back down before I leave though. So I wasn't getting quite as decent an exchange rate, but not terrible. And if I did it at the airport, it probably would have been just about the same. So I think I just saved myself some time. I got those things done. So yeah, it's just getting through and looking at all that stuff. I've been looking at, obviously, things that I want to pick up while I'm there, or at least look to pick up if it's reasonably priced. Some of this stuff I'm probably not going to find. One thing, Cannon Dancer on PS4 won't be out, so that doesn't really matter. But a few other things we'll see. And then trying to find lists of places. I'm like, oh yeah, I want to get food from here. I want to try this out. Things like that. I think I'm not... I'll still be stressed up to that point, but I shouldn't be too worried about things. I think part of it is just being gone for so long and making sure that I'm kind of getting things... Like, I've been cleaning up. I've been doing some rearranging and sprucing up. Just making sure everything here is cool. Because... really, I don't think anybody's going to be coming into my room at all, unless, you know, it's like Brian looking for a book of his on some of the, you know, the shelves that are in here. But like even those, was like there was a couple of shelves where I'm just like, oh, like I could just either minorly condense this or just wholesale move stuff over. So I actually cleared off a couple of them for my own use, where it's like, yeah, no, I moved these books. They're just right here now. And it gave me a good excuse to really, you know, dust those bookshelves. So it's like, yeah, this stuff is here, and whatnot. So at the very least, the shelves that are actually closer to me, like some of them, one whole bookshelf is like right next to my TV, and it's not the easiest thing to get to. So I might have miscellaneous shit on there, but not much else. And at least the other ones that are now kind of cleared off, it's like these are things I can use. There's a different set that's actually directly behind me that just has normal, you know, fiction and nonfiction books. That one I kind of condensed down, hoping I could get like 2 shelves out of it. I got 1, but that's better than nothing. So that one I can start putting like movies onto. I'm trying to think if I want to go through the trouble of trying to... None of my stuff's been in alphabetical order in a while, so I'm wondering if I want to go through the trouble of doing alphabetical order, like starting with that shelf, going over to the normal shelf that I have movies on, and then having it go over to my entertainment center where I actually have more stuff. And just trying to be like, okay, well, yeah, this section's over here, this is over here, this is over here. We'll see. I've needed more room for games because I have a little shelf for that, and that has run out. The amount of PS4 releases I have is large, so I need more space on that. So one of those is going to be used for that, and another one's probably going to be for books. You know, I have a bookshelf that's also kind of getting a little too full, so I could probably put some stuff over onto this. Just trying to use the space a little bit more. So I feel like, you know, I've been in this house and almost, you know, I've been over a year and a half, so I don't know when I'm going to be leaving. I have to find work, and that's not going to be a thing that really is probably going to end up happening until I get back in March, when I really start heavily looking again. So if I'm going to get back, I already have ideas in mind. I'm like, okay, there's shit I want to do when I get back. There's stuff I want to fix in the bathroom and replace in there. Paps dude had a friend of his sent him a bidet fucking like over a year ago, and it never got hooked up. So I'm like, well, I got to replace the toilet seat at some point anyways, and we got to fix something in the tank, so we can do that. And if I'm going to replace the toilet seat, I might as well hook up the fucking bidet too. So I'd have to open that up, see what kind of, you know, replacement gaskets, if it doesn't come with them. It's like, what do I need? Because I'm sure once I unhook water lines, any gaskets on there are probably already, you know, mostly shot, so I'm going to have to replace it. Because I learned through my old roommate, Davey, since he had put one into the master bedroom that him and his wife shared, when he hooked up the bidet, there was a leak, because he's like, oh yeah, I unhooked this, and then there wasn't a tight enough seal anymore, so there was a leak. That's something to bear in mind. You know, there's other things I want to just take care of and fix, because if I'm going to come back, I have to come back anyways. But if I'm going to come back, I'm like, no, I want to fix a bunch of shit, and I want to make sure that I can improve my own personal space that I use, but also improve some of the other spaces in the house, because if no one else is going to do it, fuck it. I live here too, so I might as well start fucking taking care of shit. Even more so than, you know, the person that owns the house, because if I'm going to come back after 6 weeks, like, I know I have to come back home, and I'm reasonably okay with that, but I have to come back to this environment too, and that's going to be hard after being away from it. It was hard enough coming back after being away from it when I was in Denver, and that was only 2 weeks. This is going to be 6. So I don't want to, it's not going to be in the best shape. So it's like, I'm trying to set things up now. So at least my room, when I come back to it, it's cool. It's fine. But I'm going to want to, you know, take steps to try to improve things a little bit around here. Even if, you know, I don't stick around super long after that, you know, if I can move out of here by the end of the year, great. But again, I have to find work. But we'll see how that goes. But I might as well at least try to improve, like the fucking trash can in the kitchen. I think it's more meant to be an outside trash can, and we put 30-gallon bags in it. So I'm like, I think I can find a better 30-gallon trash can, something that's new, not so kind of disgusting looking, and just, especially with the one we have, there has to be another bag in there to act as a liner, so you can get the actual bag you're trying to take out easier, because it might get stuck. And if that thing gets reasonably full, it will get stuck and it will fucking rip, and it's really annoying, which is why I try to keep least some tabs, better tabs on that. Maybe not early on when I was living here. I'm much, much better about it now. So it's if it's looking full and it's maybe been condensed down by hand once. I think we're coming up on... No, we're not. We're at Holnotski, but we got to pass this. Aiko Ishida's coming up here. I actually think they make a stop here. This is the Rapid Express, so it has to make a stop. I think everything after a certain point, they make a stop at most every station. You're hitting all the bedroom neighborhoods that then connect into either Odawara, or you're going from Odawara into Shinjuku. But after a certain point, once you get kind of past some of these smaller stations, it's like, yeah, we don't have to make stops anymore. Fuck that. I think that's... no. I think I've been on that overpass. But yeah, I try to at least keep better tabs on it, and when it's starting to look pretty full, it's like I just take it out. Obviously, it's you know, kind of self-explanatory, but that first like month or two I was here, where I was silently very defiant on, you guys are the ones making the trash, so you can take it out, until I realized 3 days later, 2-3 days later, I'm like, oh, you're out here the whole time and you haven't taken this out yet. Despite the fact that it's needed to go out, I'm like, all right, I can't wait on you to do this then, and I'm gonna stop being fucking passive-aggressive about it. I'm just gonna fucking take care of it. Here's Aiko Ishida. I know those platforms. See you soon. There's a Family Mart. The KFC and the Yoshinoya across the street. Yeah, I'll be doing a walk around here. I don't know if I'll be able to show off the platforms. At least I'll probably be able to see it from like the road area. But I'll at least do a walk around to the station. It's cool. So yeah, I want to at least replace some stuff out there. A few things that either need to be like cleaned a lot. I'll have to bug Paps Dude about it quite a bit and just be like, hey, if you can like fucking, I don't know, blast everything in the kitchen with just scalding intense amounts of steam. I think that's a romance car. But yeah, just like even the refrigerator, it's like, oh, I don't want to do that because it's not, that some of that stuff needs to be taken care of. It's like, no, it needs to be cleaned. I want that kitchen to at least feel more inviting at some point. Maybe to the point where I can actually put shit out there that I have, that I don't have to, like, I've had a Zojirushi rice cooker for like almost a year now that I haven't taken out of the box or used, because I actually bought it with the intention of using it at wherever I moved to when I was still looking for a place another place to live, you know, getting my own apartment. And that was, you know, April or May, and that's when I ran into my, you know, the negative mark on my credit report that basically killed that for a little while, and then that went away, and once that went away, then I lost my job. So I was like, well, I can't move anyway, so it's probably good and none of this went through. But I was picking up stuff that I knew, hey, I'm going to want this in my place. This will be cool. I can afford it now because I have the extra income to be able to do that. So if I get a bunch of stuff together while I'm here, I don't have to buy it later when it's going to be harder to do. So I have that, and I have a big fucking Ninja blender that's got like a food processor attachment on it and everything. It's boxed. I haven't taken it out because I don't necessarily want to use it here because I don't know where to store it. And in my, you know, in an asshole move on my part, I'm like, I don't want anybody else here to use it, because as far as I'm concerned, they won't respect the fact that it's mine, and somehow it'll get ruined or it'll get gross. I don't want to deal with that. Like, I don't even keep my electric kettle. Like, if I'm not using it, I descale it and I put it off to the side here in the room on one of the shelves, and it's fine. But I generally keep it in here, which actually is more convenient. So I just got to fill it up with water and plug it in. If I want tea, boom, there you go. Like, I think the other thing I bought around there was a Brita pitcher.
Wesker!
MCG, welcome in. Like, I bought a Brita pitcher, and I wasn't going to use that until I moved into a new place, and I was like, fuck that. Hook it up. gonna have to replace the filter on that when I get back. I think it's gonna sit too long. It's gonna become unusable. Sitting around for a month and a half and not having any water, so I think I'll just chuck the filter, order a new set when I get back, and then I can just wash the pitcher out really well and let it dry and just keep it in here. So I'm gonna have to cover certain things up too because it's gonna get dusty. Cover up the PS5, cover up, you know, my computer tower, and a few other things. That's why I've dusted since then, but it's like it's gonna get mildly dusty probably before I leave, and it's 6 weeks from, you know, that point. It's like it's gonna get dusty again. That's just how it works. So, you know, trying to keep stuff busy. My sleep schedule has been fucked too. I feel like I'm already on Japan time because even if I lay down, pardon me, even if I lay down at like 3 o'clock, like everything's out, and I roll over to go to sleep, it's sometimes taken me until after 5 to fall asleep. And I'm like, well, what time is it at 5:30 in the morning, West Coast time in Japan? I'm like, okay, well, 17 hours from now, that is, 10:30 p.m. the same day. And then I might not wake up until like 2 or 3 because I couldn't fall asleep until later. And then once I get to that point where I'm like, I want to fucking sleep, that's it. And I wake up and go, oh, fuck, most of the day's already gone. But then you look at it and go, well, it's 8 a.m. tomorrow in Japan. Like you went to bed at a decent time in that time zone and you got up at a decent time. Like if you can do that while you're there, you're gold. I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to do that right now here. Like it feels like, it makes me feel like shit. I'm already wondering how the hell I'm going to get like any rest on Sunday night going into next Monday morning and getting some sleep so I'm not going to the airport completely fucking exhausted. I don't know if I'll sleep on the flight to Vancouver. It'd be nice because it's 3 fucking hours and it's like, oh, okay. Once again, I'll be in an airport that has a Tim Hortons, but the Tim Hortons is on the pre-security side, not in the terminal where I'm going to be waiting. So I'm very upset. I want my goddamn Tim Hortons, even if they say it's not as good anymore since the company that owns Burger King bought them at some point in the past. I don't give a shit. I've never had Tim Hortons except for the coffee, and I can't even find the coffee out here anymore. Albertsons used to sell it, now they don't. So that's cool. I mean, yeah, it's just the next few days is going to 100% be. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 more days. I think I have just about everything I need. So I really shouldn't have to worry about it too much. I think I have enough food here at the house to last me until I leave. Where, like, there won't be a whole... At least for, like, maybe 1 or 2 frozen things. We'll see. There shouldn't be anything left in the fridge. The only thing I've bought recently that was... Oh, I have fucking... Shit, I have... Oh, man, I got string cheese. I forgot about that. I gotta eat that. Yeah, Timmy Hortons... what was the name of the... It was the parody one that's in Wayne's World. Mike Nikita's? Something like that. It's a hockey player. And I think Tim Hortons was based on a hockey player too, but my friend Brandy grew up in Buffalo, and Buffalo's close enough to Canada to have Tim Hortons. Although I think they have Tim Hortons now even in like Chicago and shit like that. But yeah, I was wanting to hit them up, and I was excited in 2018 when it's like, oh, we're going through Vancouver. It's like, oh, the airport's probably going to have a Tim Hortons. That's going to be rad. I'll be able to try them out. And we get into the terminal, and it's like, oh, no, there's a Starbucks, and there's like an A&W and like a couple other things. I'm like, that's not what I want. I had A&W for breakfast that day, but it's like, no, I want fucking Tim Hortons. Give me that shit. Scumbags. But yeah, I think I got everything, so it's just kind of enough food. Like, I think the only thing I'd probably have left over by that point, I got like an extra box of Nature Valley crunchy granola bars. I'm like, well, at least I have something to snack on when I get home on the 15th, because I don't know what I would be doing for food on the way home that day, since I'm gonna have to take an Uber, and I'm like, hey, I'm not gonna be like, can we take a pit stop at like fucking Jack in the Box or something? But I'll have meals at least on the flights. This lists only one meal for the flight into Japan. I don't know why it's only just one flight or one meal. Like this, you got to buy stuff on the one to and from Vancouver and Las Vegas. Either way, it's like they'll probably have drink service, but that's about it. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'll figure out something small to take with me to put into my carry-on bag or my personal bag and be like, nope, I have this. I'll be okay. So I don't really want to buy anything at the airport. At least not at McCarran, but we'll see. I'll probably have to get something in Vancouver. But then we'll have at least dinner service at some point during the Vancouver to Narita flight. And then Narita back to Vancouver on March 15th. That should have a meal, plus there's a breakfast. So that's good. Let's say for the cost of the ticket, they better do that. I don't think I mentioned DNC was supposed to go in March. He's not doing that now. I think it's funny though that our friend Kimihiko is giving him like the hard sell. It's like, oh, get a credit card with, you know, airline credit card with points and showing off. It's like, oh yeah, there's some relatively cheap tickets. They're going through LAX, which I know he does not want to, but to be fair, he's probably going to have to get past that part if he ever wants to. Unless tickets get really cheap again, going through other airports. Like, that may be your cheapest option because that's the one that's going to have the most connections going through it. Either that or SFO. But even that, like some of the SFO flights go into Haneda. I'm trying to think the one that Kimihiko had sent the other day. I want to say it went through LAX into Haneda and it was like 70,000 yen. I'm like, that's pretty good. Got to go through LAX, but I mean, you're looking to do it. But I know with DNC, it was just a matter of timing, money, various things. It just, that was the time frame he was looking at. It didn't work out. You know, finding out that late, it was only a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, well, I only really put the last couple weeks on my trip specifically to have a couple weeks in the country while he was also there. And to be able to, you know, spend most of my trip by myself, but then have like a travel companion near the end. So, you know, those last 2 weeks will be spent at Kimihiko's house, and I'm like, well, we're gonna trial by fire trying to communicate with him and his partner, because she doesn't speak English, I think, at all, or very, very, very little, and his is kind of shaky. So I'm gonna have to make use of Google Translate's conversation option a lot. I'm already gonna have to do that anyways. Once I realized that it had that option and I didn't have to like rent a translator, a little pocket translator, I wasn't gonna do that. And I am going to test how good T-Mobile works there. They have really good coverage area when you look at a map of Japan, so I'm going without using a pocket Wi-Fi. We'll see how it works. As long as I can communicate with people and Google Maps works at least to a degree, I think I'll be fine. And I'll just take a look around for Starbucks and McDonald's and be like, hey, free Wi-Fi? Cool. And use that as necessary. Plus, wherever I'm staying, it's like I'll obviously have access to Wi-Fi anyways. If I need to do heavy-duty shit, I probably, on Wi-Fi on my phone, I'm like, I probably should just do that before I go out. They're advocating the access point. Well, I mean, it is useful. But I don't remember having too many issues anytime I was out without it. Because anytime the last trip I had where I was out by myself, I didn't have access to the pocket Wi-Fi because it wasn't, you know, it was with DNC, it wasn't with me. So I don't remember having too many issues. Certain areas will probably be kind of bad, but we'll see. Because I think for 44 days it was like $180. And I was like, I don't know if I want to spend that. You know what? Do you know what? Yeah, it's like whatever providers they might have. Because I mean, T-Mobile's own map was just like, they don't show the 5G service for them, and I don't know who I'd be connecting through. So when it was still just Sprint, Sprint connected directly to SoftBank, and just said, "Hey, you're good. Welcome to Japan. You've connected through SoftBank," and I'm on the SoftBank service because I'm like, so if it's shit, that means SoftBank for everybody over there is shit. And I don't know how many like service providers there are in Japan, but I don't remember having too many issues. You'll obviously have blackouts in certain areas, and if you're on trains or in tunnels or anything, that shit's just gonna cut out. But we'll see. But even with their own coverage maps, which could be, you know, they could be finagling those a little bit. Unless you were out in the mountains, it was pretty solid, like dark pink, which was, this is the 4G LTE connection. Now, hopefully that means connection is reasonably strong, but it's also going to depend upon the level of data transfer speeds I have access to, which is, I think, 256 kbps, which is not fast, but it should be reasonable. Yeah, I might take a look at it, because if I want to get the pocket if I want to get the pocket Wi-Fi, I still got enough time to order it, and I'd be able to pick it up at the airport. We'll see. I'll probably flip a coin on that guy, because that does make me think. I'm like, yeah, if I'm relying on that a fair amount, hopefully to where I'm hoping I just remember enough shit anyways by using it enough where I'm like, oh, okay, I know what to say here. But there may be times where I'm like, I'm gonna have to kind of roughly say what I need to in here and show it to him and go, hey, this is what happens. So at the very least, that's another thing I could order now that doesn't have to come out of the trip fund. It's just a lot. Like the last time, obviously with the last trip, I'm splitting that cost with DNC, and this time it's the cost is completely on me. Yeah, something to think about. Because I know if I went through the same website that I ordered my rail pass through, they do the same thing. It's like they'll facilitate all that. I don't know if they need to send you anything though. I'm hoping it would just be, hey, can you send me just a PDF of this? Or if they have to send me anything by mail or by FedEx, unless I can like do it tonight and it shows up by like Friday, I'll have to take a look at that. Because yeah, at least with that, it'd be helpful if I'm on the go and I want to like put up a vlog like right off the bat. I'm not going to stream with that for sure, because it'll fucking, whatever data cap they have on that thing daily or whatever it kicks you down to, if you hit a specific cap, I'm like, yeah, I'll kill it. Maybe not me streaming to you guys. If I was trying to use it to watch something else, yeah, that would be a bad idea. But at the very least, accessing browser, maps, translate. Although, if I remember correctly, let me check my Google Translate. That, I believe, I downloaded. Offline translation. Let me update. Yeah, that I actually have downloaded. And I'm updating it right now, the Japanese, guess not dictionary. Let me take this into airplane mode. And turn off Wi-Fi, because now that we're offline, please check your network connection again. But I have this offline. It's weird. Maybe it doesn't work like that. Work? Okay. Yeah, I guess it doesn't work there. That's weird. Does it work when I do this? You say. All right, well, it will do that, but it will not do the conversation part of it. Good to know. That does bring up something to think about. Okay. Learning new things. So, anyways, I have laundry I did earlier that I need to put away. I have at least, hopefully, yeah, I probably don't have to do it again until like Saturday, probably early Sunday, because let's see, today's Tuesday. I don't have any plans for the next 2 days. I'd have to check with the Kindreds to see if we're actually getting together on Friday, because I know Kit had a medical issue yesterday that I don't know how bad it was. It seems like he's doing okay, but that may have thrown things into chaos on that. But if we don't see him on Friday, I won't see him again until March. And by the time I get back, DNC's new work schedule will have already started. So Friday movie and TV night, basically the last one for me, will be Friday. Saturday, I don't know what I'm doing, but probably not a whole lot. But that's kind of like, if I was going to be doing anything, I'm like, that's the cutoff, because the 29th, I'm like, nope, I got to get everything needs to be pretty much in order. I need to pack that day and try to get to bed early, because I got to be up early enough on the morning of the 30th to get my Uber ordered and get to the fucking airport and get through everything on that and be on my way. So I don't know if I'll be on again this week. And if I'm not, that'll mean we won't have any, obviously we won't have any gaming streams here for a while. I will be streaming while I'm there, but it'll be all, on camera, chit-chats and hanging out, having food or beer or whatever. But if I don't have another stream this week, I won't have another stream until at least February 1st or 2nd, whenever it kind of makes sense to be able to set up and get that going. But at the very least, I was trying to stream last week and it just didn't happen. I kept getting caught up in either mapping research or getting other shit done, and it was just, the time got away, and I was like, yep, too late now, I'm not going to fuck around with it. So at the very least, getting on sometime this week, I'm glad I at least hopped on and got something done. So, yeah, okay. I need to look into how I could get a pocket Wi-Fi ordered, and if I need to have, if the Japan Experience needs to FedEx that to me as well, like they did with the rail voucher, or if I can just be like, hey, can you just send that to me via email, and I can just go to the counter that does these and just get it from them and just show them that. So if I can do that, that'll be easy enough. But yeah, that's probably going to be a good idea. And then it's just taking stock of stuff I have here, make sure I got everything, and then I'll be off to Japan starting next week. So, yeah, I think I'll leave it at that for now. I don't remember how much longer is this. No, there's still like another 20 minutes or so before you get to the end of the line. You got to get to Odawara, since it's went from Shinjuku to Odawara, and it takes about 90 minutes. But yeah, I need to eat soon to get some dinner in me. I had a pretty light lunch and like some yogurt for breakfast, so probably should have some food. But we'll leave it at that for now. Yeah, if I don't see you guys again on here via my PC before like the 29th, then the next time you will hear from me and you'll see my face at that point, it will be on the other side of the fucking world, essentially. And I gotta remember, I usually go on around 5 or 6 in the evening. That seems to be pretty good for you guys. Seems when people show up. So if I do that, it would be like 10 or 11 a.m. on those days. So it'll probably be breakfast streams, because if I end up streaming at night, it'll be early morning for you guys, and then nobody will show up. So I'll have to figure out when the best times are to stream to kind of fit the West Coast time frame. That shouldn't be too hard. But in any case, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hearing me ramble for a while. Do a little stress relief talking about everything that's been going on. And yeah, again, if I don't see you on here before this coming Sunday, I should say, then I will see you guys in Japan. But until then, stay safe, stay well, stay masked up, watch out for weirdos out there. Obviously, things are still kind of crazy, but yeah, take care of yourselves. And we'll catch you guys next time. Till then, have a very good night.
Hey! Hi, Duke. Oh, listen, I just wanted to say goodbye and remind you that the good guys always win. Even in the 80s.